I'd like to acknowledge our Chamber Directors in attendance, Mark McMaster, Susan Robinson, Kelly Smeltzer, Adam Meikle, and Jordan Ross. And we welcome you to this forum this evening. We also have our Chamber Manager, who is most important to our group, Warren Grayson. So welcome to the Salmon Chamber of Commerce Municipal All Candidates Forum. Before we start the information portion and the formal proceedings of our meeting, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge that we host this important event on the traditional territory of the Sequepum peoples. So I just have a few housekeeping items for you. The first thing I'd like to do is to ask you to turn off your cell phones. If you have a cell phone with you, it would be wonderful if you could turn them off at this time. The other item is, of course, another important item. The washrooms are located just off the lobby area. And in the event of an emergency, fire exits are located, and you can see the exit signs for those. I'd also at this time like to confirm that I have signed a conflict of interest disclaimer and that I have no conflict of interest with respect to any and all candidates running in this municipal election. So I'd just like to take a few minutes to run through the time schedule, the program schedule for this evening. Our council candidates will very soon be giving an opening remarks, and there will be 3 minutes per person. We will have a question and answer period. I will ask the questions and our candidates will answer. Then we will have a 10-minute break, and then our mayoral candidates will appear on stage and will present you with their opening remarks. We have allotted 6 minutes per person for each of them. Again, we will have a question and answer period. I'll ask the questions for them and ask each one to answer. And then we have our closing address. And at 8:30, you'll be invited to stay and have a meet and greet with the candidates. So if the question you wanted to know was not asked or answered, you could meet with the candidates and ask them personally. So they've all agreed to stay behind and meet with you. So in order to keep us all on time, as you can see, that's a pretty rigorous schedule. So we have our board vice president, Susan Robinson. She's sitting up front here, and she is our official timekeeper, and will advise the candidates as to the time that they have used. We'd ask that all candidates assist us and be respectful of their time allotments. So the candidates' questions. As we previously communicated, the questions were submitted in writing via the Chamber website, and we had a lot of questions. There were over 50 that we received, which required one of our subcommittees to prioritize and, in some instances, condense in its written format due to multiple submissions on similar topics. So we crafted those into specific questions. We do recognize that not all questions made the event list, and so due to time constraints, this is why we created the opportunity for community members to speak directly to the candidates on those issues at the meet and greet, which I said will take place in the lobby following this event. So with the need to have a broad variety of topics, we've taken a slightly different approach. Our council candidates were seated based on a random draw by our committee. Each question will be directed to 2 candidates until we reach the end of the table, at which time the final 3 candidates will have a question to answer. For the next set of questions, we'll move in the opposite direction. With the mayoral candidates, They will answer all questions directed to them, and they were also seated on a random draw basis. There will be yes and no questions, which will be directed to all the candidates to ensure balance, and the candidates have the option to vote yes, no, or abstain. Candidates will have no more than 1 minute to answer the question, except yes or no responses. So the yes and no's will be more timely. So I'd like to open our forum by asking the candidates to commence with their opening remarks. And we will start off at the far end of the table with Aaron Brooks. You can stand or sit, whichever you would like to do, whichever is comfortable.
Hello. My name is Aaron Brooks. I was born and raised in Salmon, and I decided to attempt to join City Council as there are severe shortages with housing and the way we treat those who are less well off in this town. And I want to do everything I can as part of City Council to remedy that. Other than that, I want to take a pragmatic and intelligent approach to problems as they arise. I really have nothing more to say for an opening statement, though.
Thank you, Aaron. Please welcome Debbie Cannon.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Debbie Cannon, and I am running for City Council. My husband, Bruce, and I just live outside the city limits in Taplin. However, Salmon Arm is our home. We were raised here. Both our moms reside here. We have 2 daughters and 4 granddaughters, or grandchildren. Oops, there's a grandson in there, in Salmon Arm. We own commercial property here in Salmon Arm, so we are affected by tax increases like all residents. In short, my roots run deep in Salmon Arm, and I am committed to the well-being of this community for the long haul. As a former 3-term councillor, I understand the development and planning process, and I have experience making tough decisions, and I am a team player. If elected, there are a few initiatives in particular that I would like to see come to fruition, or at least have them in our long-term plan. I am strongly in favor of replacing our aging recreation facility. If you haven't had a chance yet, I urge you to fill out the survey on the Rec Center website regarding this issue. Salmon Arm has a vibrant arts culture. We are long overdue for a performing arts center, but the only way we can begin to get this project off the ground is to have user groups work together to make this happen. I also want to see the council look at how and where we could move our wastewater treatment plant. As our population increases, this is something that the city needs to plan for long term. It doesn't belong on our shores of Shuswap Lake. Together with First Nations, I want to see a trail built connecting our West End and beyond. I believe this would be a win for both safety and economic development. On the subject of transit, I believe it is a tough topic because it's a very expensive one to run. However, one thing is for sure, we need to know it is working for the users. Can they get to and from work and do the hours of the operation work for transit users? Our industrial park has many innovative manufacturers that provide well-paying jobs. I want to ensure that council is attuned to their needs so that we can keep existing businesses and we are able to attract new ones working closely with Salmon Arm Economic Development. I would also like to see Salmon Arm host senior or winter or summer games in the future. I think this is something that Salmon Arm could host well. In closing, I would like the opportunity to continue to move our community forward and
Thank you
ensure
very
it
much,
remains.
Debbie. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you to the Chamber for having us, and thanks to all of you for being here. My name is Louise Wallace-Richmond, and I'm running for re-election as a City Councillor in Salmon. I'm a business owner. I'm a part-time business professor at the college. I have a background, no? I can talk really loud.
You're hard.
Okay. So I have training in economics and a master's degree in publishing. I live in Canoe with my family, and I've lived here since 1999. I want to tell you about. Okay, so in 2011 I ran and I lost, and I took that message not as a no, but as a maybe next time. And in the intervening years until 2014, I did a great deal of work to really understand what being on council is about. And after learning all of that, I still wanted a job. So in 2014, you elected me, but only just barely. I only won by 70 votes. So I took that message to be, listen, Louise, if you want this job, you're going to have to work really hard to keep it. Which I have been doing for the last 3.5 years. But I want to say that the first 6 months of being a city councillor is a very steep climb. And luckily for me, I had a great council, colleagues, great staff, and our unsung heroes of the city who are our volunteer community members who advise us on so many of the important issues we deal with every day. So I'm grateful to them. And with them, I've been able to move forward on some important fundamentals that make the city work. And those are things such as strong social development, a sustainable arts and cultural field, better communication. I have to put my glasses on. Being on council has ruined my eyesight, but more inclusive public spaces and more defined economic advantages. Because these are measures of our well-being. And when we do well, good things happen. And good things are happening. We are having a building boom. We've had a mini baby boom, and some of our sectors are booming. But good doesn't mean that it can't be better. So we're a fast-growing community with capacity issues, and we've been very underserved by the province in terms of affordable housing and social development services. But the province, to their credit, is realizing that there's something very special happening in Salmon Arm, and we're ideally positioned. We've been clear in our expectations, we've built good relationships, and we deserve to get our fair share of provincial resources. So for me, as much as the campaign is about us as individuals, I want you to know that the job itself is about teamwork, and teamwork is what makes the dream work. Thank you very much.
Good evening, folks. I'm Tim Lavery. Tim Lavery, and I'd like to thank the Chamber for hosting this event. All of you are here this evening, and actually a big shout out to the candidates who have lent their good name and stand for the betterment of Salmon Arm. We do have some youth here from the Sullivan Civics 11, Politics 11, and 12 course, and I want to recognize them as thank you for doing that. And finally, I want to thank my councillor colleagues in this past term. We have 3 of them sitting at this table here now. I believe Alan and Ken are in the audience out here. We have provided the needed leadership for Salmon Arm in this period. We have learned something from each of you regularly, and I think through debate and discussion, we've come to better solutions. And so I want to thank you for that. Thank you very much. A few details. We don't have a lot of time for in-depth conversations on topics. I want to point out, if you visit my website, I've got my complete campaign platform there. The questions from the Chamber will be put up on there in responses. as well as over 100 at this stage, and the list is growing, 100 endorsees for my re-election to Salmon Arm Council. So I'd urge you to check that out. And I want to just wrap up a little bit by discussing how I approach this important job on council. I have always asked for your input. It's not my responsibility. It is my responsibility as much as it is yours. I listen closely to your ideas. I make sure to ask if I've heard you correctly. I research thoroughly. I think it's an underappreciated aspect of a leadership position that you're faced with competing rationale on decisions, and all of them are legitimate. And it's really critical to come up with a balanced decision that's representative of the community. I do that, and I commit to doing that in the future. And finally, I commit to explaining my reasoning for the decisions I've made. So, I'm Tim Laverty. I'm number 12 on a long list of outlines right towards the end. Hopefully I'm your number one choice. Please check out my website. Thanks in advance for your support. I look forward to specific questions and topics as we go. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hello, my name is Chris Meagle, 31 years old. I'm very honored to be here. Very nervous as well. I've lived in Salmon Arm for the past 12 years and have been lucky to be a part of a manufacturing company that started off with my family and partners. Since then, I've moved on and started my own business in Salmon Arm's Industrial Park, working in the steel fab sector. I'm very lucky to be in Salmon Arm's Industrial Park, around so many great companies. Every time I talk to people from other towns, Kamloops, Vernon, they don't have the same kind of industry that we have going on here. And because of that, I'm able to operate the business that I have today for the past year. The city is growing, and I'm becoming part of that growing demographic of people about my age, and I want to represent those people and Salmon Arms Industrial Park. And if that aligns with your views, I hope I can represent you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next candidate is Mary Municipal.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank the Chamber for hosting this event. It is always a pleasure to come out for their events as a member of their board and a member of the Chamber, and I've always respected what's been done in this city by them and the innovative leadership that has come out of the past couple of presidents that we've had. I want to paint you a picture of Salmon Arm in 4 years. I'm a dreamer. And I'm going to start at the industrial park, where my friend Chris is. And when I talked to Chris about the industrial park, I had learned that although we have one and there are some good businesses settling there, we are not giving them as much of the city services that perhaps we can give them. And I'm hoping in 4 years we can. So I want to paint a picture of this vibrant industrial park that has the proper sewage system and that the bus stops there with their employees. And I see their employees getting off that bus and going in. And some of them are young. They're apprentices. They have taken the courses for this, perhaps at our Okanagan College. So not only did they go to school here, but now they have opportunities to work here because the industrial park. Now, not in the same area is our airport. Well, our airport has had a rough time lately because they have not been able to land planes at night, I understand, as a result of the trees that are on each end, and Transport Canada had said, no, you can't do that at night. Well, in forest fire season, this may not be a good idea, not being able to land planes, because you never know when you want to get things into the city or out of the city. But not only that, I learned from the airport manager that 2 to 3 times a day at times, the BC ambulance service, air ambulance service, can land there to bring people to our hospitals. So it's really important to have that working well. And I see an airport that's alive, that has runway lights, and is working well. I see greenhouses and farms and agricultural business thriving. I see at the corner of the Trans-Canada Highway and 30th signs that warn trucks to reduce their speed to 40 km and to proceed through the city in the right lane as a safety measure. Safety is important to me. Just as I see is clean up our perimeter so that fire doesn't invade us and that we work with all of our emergency people. I see recreational facilities that are updated and an arts center with a conference center.
Thank you very much, Mary Lou.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Our next candidate for McDermott.
Good evening. My name is Joe McDermott, and I've been a Salmon resident since 2009. My husband David and I moved here because we knew we didn't want to raise a family in a big city. Salmon appealed to us then because it held a small town charm and feel that was important to us, but also offered us a chance to live in a paradise we had enjoyed visiting for many years. 9 years later, we still love the sense of community and the charm that brought us here in the first place. We have a 6-year-old daughter who we are proud to be raising in Salmon. My hope for her future mirrors my hope for our community. I am running for council because I firmly believe that being actively involved is a responsibility that all members of the community should share. I have always been a natural leader and have often found myself being asked to sit on various boards and committees even before being given the opportunity to volunteer. I enjoy working with diverse groups of individuals and take pride in my ability to look at all sides of an issue before making an educated decision. My varied professional background enables me to view things with a very broad lens and see the many facets of any issue that is presented to me. I am passionate about Salmon Arm, and I am determined to do my best to serve the people of Salmon Arm to the best of my abilities. As the world around us shifts and grows, I firmly believe that now is the time to embrace change. Winston Churchill once said, "To improve is to change. To be perfect is to change often." Our current 7 elected officials have a combined total of more than 70 years sitting on the council. While some might see this as experience, I see this as a little excessive. I find it hard to believe that we are living and growing to our fullest. Sorry, no offense intended. And embracing what it means to be the dynamic, wonderful community we are when our elected officials are almost the same year after year. Introducing new voices on a regular basis will fuel the flame for new ideas and innovative decisions. The time has come to embrace the diversity that the population of Salmon Arm represents, and I would like to see this diversity represented in our municipal government. Having similar professional backgrounds continually represented in our local government cannot lend itself to the type of input that should be expected on a representative council. I believe that any council that is involved in making decisions for those they represent should encompass the backgrounds of those that have chosen them as representatives. Our elected officials should come from a variety of backgrounds that surround us daily. We should be able to see representatives from all walks of life and a variety of sectors making the decisions that are so vital to our community, because the City Council of Salmon Arm should represent all of Salmon Arm, not just some. We need people who live, breathe, and love all of Salmon Arm, and those that make the city what it is. As a representative of Salmon Arm, I will strive.
Thank you very much, Joe. Thank you.
Our next candidate is Sylvia Lindgren.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming, and thanks to the Chamber for hosting us. My name is Sylvia Lindgren, and I'm running for City Council. I'm running because I come from a very varied background. I've worked in healthcare and education and with people with traumatic brain injuries and mental health issues, and I'm very passionate about the social fabric of our community. When I hear things about possibly fining poor people for panhandling downtown, I worry. But the big reason that I'm running is because my husband and I moved here in 1994 with the intention of raising our family here and staying in this community for probably the rest of our lives. And I hoped that my children would grow up here and stay here, or at least, move away for a few years after university and come back to work here so that my grandchildren would grow up near me. Currently, both of my boys live on Vancouver Island. So, my daughter still lives in town, but the problem with Salmon Arm is that there's no safe, affordable housing. So my daughter and son-in-law and my granddaughter live in my house, and I live in the carriage house above my garage, by choice, because I wanted my children and my grandchild to have a safe place to live. But that shouldn't be their only option. We need to make sure that we are representing all of the people of Salmon Arm. We've seen news articles about what a great place Salmon Arm is to retire. I think it was in the top 10 places in Canada for retirement. But we can't rely on just the retirement age group. I'm getting up there myself, and I'm going to be part of that demographic soon, but I would like for my children to be able to find a home here. I'd like for my daughter and son-in-law to be able to buy a house here. Some of you know that I ran in the provincial election last year, and I think that my passion then was the same as it is now, to do the best that I can to advocate for the people that I represent. I've been a representative or an advocate for people my whole life. I used to run a family daycare. I've advocated for children. I've advocated for people with special needs. I'd like to advocate for you. My day job right now is an education assistant with a school district, and my evening position is president of the union local that represents 1,000 school district and community social services workers. One of the things that I tell them, my executive, all the time is that we need to have a variety of voices sitting on our executive. And I think that's something that we need to do for Salmon Arm as well. We need to have people from the business community, people from arts and culture, people with a passion for social democracy. We need to have a good mix, and I think I represent a big part of that.
Thank you very much.
Please welcome Kevin back.